Keanu Reeves is back as the badass John Wick in the latest installment, John Wick Chapter 4. I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up, and is the newest John Wick the best in the series? Find out now. After the events of the strangely titled John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, alright, I'm not the only one who still thinks adding Parabellum to the title made zero sense, right? Wick is once again trying to take down the High Table, the leaders of what must be the largest assassination ring in the history of everything, since there seems to be a never-ending supply of bad guys for Wick to take on. Although John told us at the end of the last movie that he was going to burn the world to get to the High Table, plans change when a mysterious new figure called the Marquis, played menacingly by Bill Skarsgård, arrives and has become the judge, jury, and executioner for the table. He sets out to clean up the mess that John has created through the first 3 movies, and Skarsgård is excellent in this role. He has a very calm terror to him and chews up the scenery with every line he speaks in an accent that may or may not be French. For the first time, this series gives us a villain that doesn't care about matching strength or ability with John and chooses to outsmart him with every move, and honestly, it's a nice change of pace. I also just want to point out the immaculate drip on Skarsgård, as he might be one of the most stylish villains ever. That man can wear a suit. The Marquis not only puts the largest bounty on Wick's head, but also brings in an old friend of John's to deal with him. And this old friend is Kane, played by the highly underutilized Donnie Yen, who is apparently becoming Hollywood's go-to for a blind man that can still kick everyone's ass. But hey, if it gets Donnie Yen seen by more moviegoers, we are here for it. Kane has no choice but to help, since the Marquis and the High Table have threatened people close to him, and Yen puts that uncertainty into the performance and may stand out as one of the best characters ever in this franchise. Alongside Kane and a host of other nameless, faceless baddies, trying to take down John Wick is another new character known as Tracker, or Mr. Nobody. This is a man who seems to have the skills and determination to be the one to collect the bounty, but first, it must get to the right price. Shamir Anderson, who has acted in a lot of things, but people still may not recognize him, gives a breakout performance, and we would not be surprised to see him showing up in many, many more movies in the near future. Now, the story itself is not that interesting, as John continues to do the same thing we've seen him do in every movie. He is on the run and must survive long enough to get to a certain place at a certain time to try and get his life and freedom back. This is somewhat of a letdown, as it felt like the last movie promised us that John would take down the High Table no matter the cost. But other than an early scene, he's never on the offense and ends up playing defense the entire runtime. This appears to be a problem with the entire franchise. As the story and world kept getting bigger, the writers couldn't figure out how to give us what was promised in the last movie. But we know why everyone is going to see this movie. It's not because of the story, it's because of the action. And let me tell you, this is the best action in the series, hands down. It is a lot of the same that came before, but what sets this apart from everything you've already seen is the amazing cinematography by Dan Laustin. The way the action is shot in this movie is on par with any Academy Award winner, and we wouldn't be surprised to see this movie get a nomination come next year's ceremony. There is one sequence in particular where the camera shoots all the action from an overhead position, and it feels like you are playing the best video game to ever exist, as Wick makes his way from room to room in a drawn-out firefight. This, combined with a street battle taking place at the Arc de Triomphe, might possibly be the greatest action scenes in any movie ever. Now, one of the major flaws with John Wick Chapter 4 is how much plot armor must exist to make sure John gets to the end of the movie. This world has already established that his suit is bulletproof, but they put that suspension of disbelief to the test in this movie as he shrugs off round after round, and bullets just don't matter. Not only that, but he falls from immensely high places only to get up and walk away with the slightest of limps. We understand that Wick is the Baba Yaga, but he has now become Superman as well. Back in the first movie, there would be signs of a fight left on John. But in this one, we guess the filmmakers wanted to keep him as clean as possible because he goes through so much to show so little. There does get to a point where you may feel like you're having some deja vu, as this movie repeats beats that have occurred in every movie so far. A dance party scene, a street fight, a car chase, over-the-top action, it's all the same. And there must be only so many places that assassins can fight each other if they keep using them over and over. Here's a final few notes. Ian McShane returns as Winston, the manager of the New York Continental, and he is as good as always. Clancy Brown portrays a new character, Harbinger, which we think the movie did very little with and we could have used a lot more of. Hiroyuki Sanada plays the manager of the Osaka Continental and a friend to John, is excellent in the role but once again, sadly underused. Singer Rina Sawayama makes her big screen debut as the concierge of the Osaka Continental and puts in a great, if underdeveloped, performance. Seems like this movie had a real problem bringing in big names for big parts and not using them to the fullest. At over 2.5 hours, this movie feels its length at times, but feels very rushed at others. Somewhat of an unbalanced narrative overall. So with that said, we give John Wick Chapter 4 an A-, because it takes what came before and adds additional layers with an ending that will leave you wondering what comes next. Thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments below your thoughts on the newest John Wick, and don't forget to subscribe for more great content. Like, share, and ring that bell for notifications. And if you like what you heard, check out our podcast, Does It Hold Up?, where we talk about older movies to see if they hold up to today's standards. Until next time, keep watching movies.